Hello and welcome, everyone. This is the reading of the week for December 11th to the 18th. I'm hoping you are all well, and I just want to indicate these lovely rosebuds that came out of my garden. One of the privileges of living where I do is that my roses like to throw up blooms or buds at any rate, right up until, well, you see it, December. Yeah, I love my garden and I love these roses. And I know they're not going to open because we get rain and then they do what they call balling, which is the outer leaves start to rot and then the whole bud itself rots and falls off. But you can see some of them are trying to open. And I thought, well, I might as well bring them in and enjoy them today and share them with you rather than letting them just rot in the garden. So, tell I like my flowers, hey? All right, let's take some deep breaths together and get our energy organized and settle in for this week's reading. Just taking a deep breath down to your bottom of your belly, blowing it out like you're blowing out birthday candles. Doing that 3 times is a great way to get yourself into the present moment, right here, right now. And the other thing would be visualizing that tree root coming out of the base of your spine and grounding you deeply into Mother Earth, anchoring you as well as creating a conduit through which anything that no longer serves can easily pass out and down and into Mother Earth to become compost for new growth. Creator, this is your daughter Titania, and I'm here with all those who are wanting to receive this information this week. My intention is to be a clear channel for the information that they most need to receive right now and to provide that to them in a manner that they will easily and effortlessly hear, understand, and integrate for their highest and greatest benefit and the benefit of anyone whose life they touch. I call upon my higher self and the higher selves of all those listening now and in the future to be present and make sure this reading happens in a good way and that we cover all that needs to be covered. I also like to ask an overlighting angel of communication to be here to facilitate this exchange and ensure that it happens in the best way possible for the greatest good of all concerned. At this time, I'd like to invite the 4 archangels to come and hold the 4 directions around us, wherever we are in time and space, creating a sacred container of light, of love, of wisdom, of healing, of transformation, of peace, of reconciliation, of truly whatever is in our collective heart and mind at this time. I invite Raphael to hold the east, Michael to hold the south, Gabriel to hold the west, and Uriel to hold the north. I thank you for coming and for lending your wonderful energies to this gathering. Anything that doesn't match these frequencies of light, of love, of healing, of clarity, of wisdom is welcome to go now. So let's get started. Okay. Okay, here we go. So here we have the recent past, the influence is waning, continues into our present, into our future. Possessiveness. The 4 of Pentacles, Pentacles being the earth suit. It has to do more with material things, with our 3-dimensional existence, with shelter, food, money, that kind of stuff. So in this case, we have the 4 of Pentacles sitting in this recent past position. And this is the energy, as you can see, the woman in the card is holding on to her stuff. She's sitting in a pile of jewels and she's clutching them to her chest and looking furtively around as if she's worried someone's going to discover her and take her loot. So this is just a reminder to be aware of how we're managing our energies, because whenever we hold on like this, we are not flowing our gifts. We're not flowing our energy. We're not flowing our life force out into the world. We're holding on. And when we hold on, we shut down. We're not as free-flowing and abundant and comfortable. And, considering everything that is going on and concerns about the future and all the unknowns that we're facing, it's natural to want to do this. I just want you all to know that. It's very human, very natural. It's okay. No point in beating ourselves up for feeling concerned. But it's also really good to be mindful of that and realize that when we do this, when we do go to this place of scarcity or fear, we are shutting down our energy. We're shutting down our connection to source. So just being mindful of this can help us to soften a little bit, to open up a little bit, and to just get that energy flowing again, that energy in our three-dimensional space, because it's important. We are the channels for life. Life flows out and through us. And if we shut that down, we're not giving our energies. We're not giving of our life force. We're not flowing life out into the world. And it's really important to flow life, because that's how life continues to grow and expand and become more than it was. We're an important part of that. So just awareness for the coming week about being mindful of this. Okay, the present card. We have the World, the Dancer of Life. So this is the last card of the major arcana. Major arcanas are pay attention cards, and this is the lovely, lovely card of, you see, you have the world behind her, and she's dancing with life. She's dancing with the world. She's engaged and celebrating her experience with life. It's this very intentional, dynamic, co-creative experience of being part, a little bit like I was just talking about. We are the channels for life to flow into life. And so when we embrace this, we become incredibly creative, abundant, fertile, life-giving, and we bring more life and light and joy to the planet and love when we are engaged in this space. So this is the card in our present environment, this celebration of life, celebration of our part in the role that we play with life, dancing with life, co-creating with life. Just a reminder to open our hearts to this energy and to be present to this energy. And what I love about this is often in my meditations, I see the planet and I see all the light holders on this planet, all the people who are engaged in this process, who are engaged with flowing life and dancing with life. And I see all these pinpoints of light all across the planet, creating this beautiful web of light, and how we're all together transforming this planet through our love, through our care, through our open-hearted giving. So just a reminder that this is a great intention to set and to hold for ourselves. How can we dance more with life? How can we be more in ease and flow and trust? The near future, joy, more joy. So we have 3 kids. It's the 6 of hearts, hearts being the suit of emotions, of feelings. It's a generative energy that comes from our feelings. So you have these 3 children. 2 of them are carrying a little one in a basket between them, and they're just lightheartedly enjoying life. And again, the symbolism of the roses. We have rosebuds up here and a rose down here and roses here. Roses are a symbol for love. They're the highest flower, symbolic of love. And when they show up in cards, it has to do with that passion that we hold. And passion is life calling to life, that excitement, that enthusiasm that we feel. And it's a wonderful thing to take note of and to give our energy to those areas of our life where we are passionate. And this card is all about simple joys, simple pleasures, simple enjoyment of life with others. And yes, it is difficult because we are in some areas locked down. We're not able to see each other, especially where I am. We're in lockdown until January 8th, so no Christmas gatherings other than with your immediate bubble. But that doesn't mean you can't focus on being appreciative and grateful and joyful and seeking to celebrate in whatever way is possible. That's online, going for distance walks, that kind of thing. But continuing to share the love and continuing to share the joy of the season, no matter what. There's always a way. We can find it. We're very creative and innovative as human beings, so I challenge you. Okay, the next position is the foundation. This is why we're having the reading this card. We have the King of Hearts. And this is a sort of a more masculine energy. Typically we have the kings and the queens, and they typify masculine and feminine energies of their suit, and of hearts, as I said, have to do with the emotional body, with our feelings about things, and but more masculine qualities. So in this case, we have the king, and the king is, masculine energies tends to be more practical, gets things done, doesn't get too caught up in feeling, although he is the king of hearts. The kings and queens are also the maturation. They represent the maturation of their suit, which means they really understand the realm of the heart. And as such, they can be a wonderful influence in our experience because they help us to become comfortable with our own feelings and be mature about them, not necessarily get stuck or have a hissy fit or whatever it is that we're tempted to do, but to recognize that our emotions serve a purpose. They guide us towards what it is that's wanted. It helps us to define what's wanted and what isn't. And as such, they're helpful and important signposts in our experience. And it's important not to get stuck there, not to get stuck and make a whole story about it and wind up wallowing in the bottom of a pit someplace for a while. It's very typical in our culture to do this. I'll never forget, I probably mentioned this before, but if anyone's read The Little House on the Prairie, they have these horrendous things happen to them. And Ma never gets stuck in the story of it. She's never wringing her hands after the event and thinking, oh dear, oh my, and isn't that terrible? We almost died. And that kind of an energetic set point. She doesn't go there. She just goes, she says, all's well that ends well. And then they clean up and they go on with life. And it's not a drama. In our culture, we like drama. We like to get stuck in it. This card is about not getting stuck in the drama. As I said, it's the masculine energy. It's like, okay, it's there. It's what it is. It's recognizing it, acknowledging it, and moving on. This is the foundation card for the week ahead. So, we could all get dramatic and worked up about things, but we have important things to be doing with our life force and our energy, like flowing it towards finding more joy and more gratitude and more appreciation, because we all benefit when we're in that set point. So that's our work this week. Let's not get stuck in the poor me or isn't it terrible headspaces. Let's just acknowledge that things aren't necessarily the way we want them to go. And how do we make it the way we want it to go? How do we bring more joy? How do we bring more love? How do we bring more to each other's experience in this time of this season of the holidays? Hanukkah is beginning this week, at the Festival of Light. And then there's Christmas eventually and solstice. Like it's a time of renewal and light in the darkness, especially here in the Northern Hemisphere, because of course the days are shorter. So how do we make more joy? How do we make more love? How do we make more light? That's a far better use of our life and our energy rather than getting stuck in a pit of misery. Okay. How others are going to be, we have this Magician, another major arcana. Now the Magician is about focus and attention. The Magician puts his attention on the object of what it is he wants to achieve and manifests it from the elements. It's a very strong card of mastery, of deliberate and conscious creation with life. So this card is all about where are you putting your attention? Where are you putting your focus and what are you pulling through into this reality? It's really important for us, especially at this time, to be very deliberate about what we want to see happen in our own experience and in our collective experience. We need those big visions. We need those dreams of clean ocean waters and clean air and renewable energy and governing bodies that truly have the good of the people and the land at heart in all of their decision making. And, corporate leaders who also take that very seriously, that they, with their great wealth comes great responsibility, and the importance of them manifesting and using their abilities in a good way for the greater good of humanity. Very important. And this energy is all about how we need to be this week. We need to be conscious creators of our experience. Again, let's not get stuck in the hole unless we want to get stuck in the hole. Let's use our will. Let's use our attention and our focus to making our lives what we want them to be, to bringing more joy, to being appreciative, to being grateful, because that pulls more for us to be grateful for. That pulls more for us to be appreciative of. That pulls more for us to co-create with. It's very, very important to realize that we are the masters in our lives. That's what this is about. This is about mastery of our experience of life, mastery of our co-creative dance with life. We're here to create. We're here to experience. We're here to have preferences. We're here to direct our lives towards our preferences and allow even more of that good energy to flow into our experience. We're co-creating with life and with God, if you want to call it that. We are in a very important time in our evolution on this planet that we're becoming conscious of our space on this planet and our role that we play. And we're not going to do it by default anymore. It's our opportunity to do it with wisdom, with maturity, with intention. So this is very much what this card is talking about. How do we bring more of that mastery and attention and will into every experience of every day? And at the beginning, it's not going to be easy, but it comes with intention, with practice. We get more mindful. We get more present in every moment. And we stop doing things by default. And we bring that intention to the moment. We bring our intention for doing something well. We bring our intention to doing it with love. We bring our intention of doing anything that we do for the highest and greatest good of ourselves, our families, those in our community, and the world at large. Just holding that in our heart as we go about our day makes a huge difference in how we be in the world. How others are going to be. It's a card of seclusion, reevaluation. Sorry, not seclusion. Four of Hearts, reevaluation. And the story of this is this person has gone into a place apart. It looks like maybe a darkened corner or a darkened room, and they're very reflective. They're opening up their box of treasures, and they're going through their box of treasures, evaluating what's important, what are they holding on to, what are they going to give away, what are they savoring, what are they giving their attention to. And this very much speaks to everything that we have here, this idea of where our attention goes is where our energy is going to go. So really being mindful about it. If we want more joy, initiate joy, create joy. Think about sparking joy in other people's experience and in your own experience. It's really important. So this is the energy of how others are going to be. There's sort of this contemplative and inward sort of energy. It's not a bad thing. It's a very good thing. In fact, it's the perfect time of year for it. This time of the year of winter, of solstice, of the darkest time of the year. This is all about inward time. This is about why the trees lose their leaves and they pull their energy down into their roots for the winter. It's what nature does at this time of year, and it's appropriate for us to do it as well. In many ways, our cultural traditions of running around and celebrating with everybody, lots of Christmas parties, lots of activities at this time of year, is counter to what's native and natural to us. It's darker, it's colder, we want to be inside, we want to be cozy, we want to be inward. And this card is all about that energy. So if again, if you're in an environment where there isn't as much lockdown, or if you encounter people who aren't as interested in running out and engaging, just recognize that they may be in this process, this very rich process of evaluation, of reevaluation of their lives, of what they want to be creating. And it's important. And so we can give them our love and support. And sometimes what's really just helpful is just to listen if someone needs a listening ear, not to come up with any solutions, but just to hear and witness what it is that they're going through and experiencing so that they can unpack it for themselves and become clearer about what they want and what's important in their experience. So that's others. And as we're all others in somebody else's experience, that may be our experience too. In which case, this idea of being kind to each other as we go through this and that provision of a listening ear if we need it. But these two cards are very close together because we're all having our own experience and we're all others in other people's experience. So this idea of mastery, of co-creation, well, it's easier to do that when we know what we want. It's easier to do that when we're clear about what's important to us. Then we know where we need to flow our energies and our life force. So good reminders. And the outcome, our friend, the Tower, the one that keeps showing up. Well, there's more of this unraveling energy. And that's not necessarily, unexpected with this energy of reevaluation that's happening for us. Some of us, it's deeper than for others. Some of us, we maybe are having a more superficial experience of what that is, and that's okay. Wherever we are is just fine. But what it means is as we get clearer about what's important, and as we get clearer about what brings us joy, and as we get clearer about what we want and how we want to co-create with life and what we want to manifest, a lot of the structures that exist in our society don't support that. And so they are becoming obsolete, and they are unraveling, and they are coming apart at the seams. And we'll be left with a clean slate to build on. A clean slate that will be more in alignment and in keeping with where we are at this time. So this is a really important card. It's not to be feared because the change and the transformation that it represents is essential for us in our forward momentum as the human species. It's important to our growth and who we're becoming. So it's important never to be afraid of the tower, but to recognize these flashes of lightning that are coming down in the sky, hitting the tower and causing it to collapse. This is inspiration, powerful inspiration that comes from the higher, wiser, broader aspect of us. You want to call it God, the universe, whatever. These energies, this clarity, this energy, this inspiration about what is important, about what is meaningful, about what it is that's true. And that's a hotly debated word because we have so many perspectives on truth these days. But nevertheless, this wisdom comes down, and as a result, it is so clear that the existing structures that we have no longer work. I mean, so often we know that. We've seen it again and again and again in the cards and in what's happening in the world. We know that we're not taking care of the planet. We know we're destroying the planet and each other and the other species we share the planet with. We know that the various governance and political structures and even the economic structures that we have in place are flawed, deeply, deeply flawed and problematic and need to be changed. These are things that we know. We may not know how we're going to get there, but we're in the between place between the stories. We're leaving the old, which is where this is part of the old, the falling away of the old, but we haven't landed in the new. But rest assured, there are wonderful people holding wonderful solutions for us. There are things that are already in place, we're just not aware of them in the mainstream. So never fear that this level of transformation is bad, because it's necessary for our growth collectively, and we will get through it. And the sooner and the better if we hold a space of appreciation, gratitude, love, and we take the time to evaluate what's important and to prioritize that in our experience. Okay, so this is the energy of the week. This is what we've got going ahead. So, if you're holding on, give yourself a big hug. Let yourself know it's okay. And just see if you can soften that a little bit. If you can soften and recognize that when you hold on, you're choking off your life force energy. You're choking off your connection to source. And we need to flow that. We need to flow our energy, our gifts, our talents, our love into the world, our resources, even our money. We need to be supporting local businesses, small businesses especially. We just need to be doing what we can to support each other and bring more joy, bring more love and light to the planet at this time. So that's your homework, is how can you do more of that? Whether that's wrapping a tree in your yard with Christmas lights so that you bring some light and love into people's experience on these cold nights. Again, this idea of evaluation, what is important, and giving your energy and life force to that, maybe letting go of things that don't match that, and letting it feed this collective will and this collective push and this collective calling forth of the new, of the essential, of the important, of what is important and in alignment with our values. We are incredibly powerful when we give ourselves permission to be the co-creative dancers with life that we are. And when we orient our heart space and our energies and our emotions in the right direction towards what is wanted, always towards what is wanted. Okay, that's the reading for this week. Let's see what our card to grow on is. All right, what is it that we need to know about the coming week? How do we need to be? The energies of the coming week. There's our dancer again. She wants to come out and play. Okay. What do we need to know for the coming week? Craftsmanship. I really like this card. It's a beautiful card. The colors are so lovely. Craftsmanship. The name says so much. This is the 8 of Pentacles. And this is about slow and steady building of something. Applying oneself, one's energy and focus and mastery to something to develop mastery. That 10,000 hours to become a master in something. This is sort of what this card is about, is that application of your attention, your energy, your resources, your well-being, you putting your life force towards something that calls to you. This is a beautiful card. This isn't an ugly card. This is about going towards what is beautiful to us, going towards what moves our heart, what inspires us, what we feel enthusiastic about, and building that. We may not know what it's for, but it's okay to give yourself permission to spend time doing those things that you love, that bring you to life, that nourish you and refine you and bring you joy. When you're in these good spaces, you have more of that to give to others in your experience and to life itself. We're much better channels for life when we are lined up with what life is calling us towards. And when we're doing things we don't like, we're shut down, we're not flowing life quite as much. It's always a good idea to prime the pump of enthusiasm to the best of your ability and at least get to the place of acceptance before engaging in anything, because you'll find it flows just that much better. So finding ways to make the things that are perhaps more challenging to do easier and more appreciative, easier to, appreciative, I'm not speaking very well, but this idea of making things more pleasant for you, even if it's difficult, so that you have a better experience in the process. It's okay to use your energies to make your life better. It really is. To make the life of other people better. So our card to grow on this week is this energy of craftsmanship, this idea of indulging in that which you love and letting it nourish you deeply and nourish your life so that you can extend that out into the world beyond you. That's a good card to grow on this week. Okay, my friends, thank you for being here. Thank you for your willingness to keep showing up in your own experience and doing the best that you can in every moment. Thank you for being patient with yourself, for loving yourself despite the occasional fall into the pit. That's okay. We all do it. We're here having this human experience. And the wonderful thing is as we engage with life in this intentional manner, as we become more conscious and intentional, we're changing. We're becoming more than we were. We're holding more light and more love. And as a result, we are expanding and our experience of life changes too. And it's a beautiful thing that we can consciously engage in. This idea of love and light, of joy and peace. Creator, I thank you for this opportunity to be of service today. I hold each and every person listening to this call in your light and your love. And I'm so grateful for the opportunities that you are giving us to continue to become more than we were, to learn about how to have more love and light and joy in our experience, how to give our attention to the things that light us up, and that in turn we can share that beautiful radiant energy with all those in our circle so they too will be lit up and inspired to pursue their own love and craftsmanship and inspiration and joy. I'm so grateful for the wisdom and the guidance and the healing that is happening here every week in these readings, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. Thank you for the opportunity to do this work. Thank you to each and every one of us who is present. Many blessings, much love and light. The reading is at an end, and thank you to all those who held this space. So it is. Much love, everybody, and we'll see you next week.